Hello everyone. In today's video, I want to tell you a story. The reason I want to tell you this story is hopefully after hearing the story, you'll have a better understanding of where I am and my circumstances. If you can listen to the whole thing, I greatly appreciate that. If you can't, I understand. But here we go. I ran a computer business up until the beginning of the pandemic for over a decade. And the pandemic essentially forced me into closing my business, which was my only main source of income. At the time, I did still have a little side gig of doing Uber, um, but my business was my main source for me and my family. Essentially, the pandemic put me into a financial ruin. Drained all my savings. I went into like some pretty major debt, just trying to stay afloat. Um, and then I decided to go full time with Uber in late 2020. Hindsight, I should have actually done that much sooner, but I I just didn't want to give up on my business. But I should have, and I probably would be in a better situation than I am now. Um, Fast forward to the last 12 months, and during from 2020 to now, life has been a struggle for my kids and I, and I've I've done everything I can. And some days are better than others, and some years are better than others. But this last 12 months has been very, very trying, financially, mentally, physically. Um, Within the past 12 months, I have missed a solid at least like 2 months of work. And I live paycheck to paycheck, trying to dig myself out of the ruin that the pandemic caused me. And when you live paycheck to paycheck and your vehicle is your job, and your vehicle breaks down or requires repairs in order to pass inspections or just to get back on the road safely, I found myself having to make impossible choices that involved having to pay to get my car fixed versus paying my bills. Because if I paid my bills at the time, then I wouldn't have a car to pay further bills. So I would pay the expenses to get the car up and running again so that I could just continue working and then do my best to catch up on everything. But things just kept happening. Unexpected life expenses, numerous car repairs, and delays with the car repairs, finding places that could fit me in. And every day I miss is money I'm not making, and so I'm just digging further and further. And so let me bring you through an average work day. So my day starts at 4 a.m. I get up, and I get ready to go to work, which is an Uber delivery driver. And where I work um, is a round trip 150-mile commute um, from where I live, because where I live, there isn't enough activity for things like Uber delivery. So I have to drive 150 miles round trip before I even start doing any delivering of any kind, which is a large contributor to why I have so many miles on my Bolt. Um, is just all my work miles that I do throughout the year, and I find myself I have to trying to make up the difference on things. I work 7 days a week, 4 a.m. start, and usually ends around 8 p.m. Um, and and that's every day. There are rare occasions where if I have to take a day off because it's to have something done for my car, or I have an obligation like an appointment or something that I had scheduled, 6 months out or something, or um, but but yeah, I me and a day off are no longer close acquaintances. um, and it can be hard. Um, you know, I don't really get to I don't get to see much of my family, my kids. Um, but but I do what I gotta do, and I'm really trying. Um, and anyway, um, so I because of those impossible choices that I've found myself having to make, I am finding myself behind on things. I'm behind on my rent. I'm behind on my car payment, um, which was supposed to be fully paid off by the end of this year, and now has been pushed back to February of next year, and hopefully it doesn't go any further than that. I'm behind on utilities, and winter is approaching, um, and so I sorry for the empty air. um, I'm trying to not say and all that kind of stuff. I have started a GoFundMe, and I'll put the link in the description. And I'm essentially trying to raise $3,500 by year's end, so by the end of 2025. Um, it would be great if it could happen sooner than that, um, but I don't even know if any of it will happen. But I've never done anything like this before, um, and I'm kind of just at the end of my rope. Um, I have concerns, and I lose sleep what little I get over the idea of having my car repossessed, um, having my lights turned off, potential eviction. My Where I live, our current landlord has decided to sell the place, and I'm concerned that if and when it sells, that the new owners may frown upon um, my recent inability to pay the rent on time. Even though I've lived there for over 10 years and have never been late on rent prior to the past 12 months, it is a back of my mind, you know, concern that eats away at me. Um, so, I'm concerned about that they may not want to renew my lease um, if and when it comes to that. Um, so, there are only so many hours in a day. And you may ask, well, why don't I work later than I do? Well, I have difficulty seeing at night um, when it comes to doing deliveries, and so um, it's 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 just better and safer for everyone if I don't do things like that. Um, so so yeah, just in case anyone was pondering that aspect. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. And and that amount. I mean, little napkin math. I mean, if you know, if every subscriber tossed $10 towards this, I would I would meet that goal. Um, Now, I'll be very clear that I'm not expecting anything um, from anyone, but I figured I have to try. For me, for my family. Um, it's a it's a hard thing, to do. Um, it's very vulnerable feeling. Um, but I really I really just want to get back on track, um, so I can start the year fresh. And I mean, there were things that I wanted to do um, for video wise, or I had ideas for things, but I'm always working, and I haven't had the time to pursue them. Um, and so, I would love to just be able to be back in a position where I can maybe take a day off to actually, um, you know, spend time with my family, or obviously, like, pursue a lot of the ideas that I have. That I would like to do, and by all means, like, I love all the comments and whatnot. I try to answer every question. And I haven't been able to get to that in a while, and I feel horrible about that. Um, but but yeah, I'd like to keep this whole thing going. Um, and I'm really close to the next milestone, the next, like, the 450 mark. Um, and I'll make a video about that when it happens. Uh, but but yeah. So I guess that's that. And if any of you watching this can donate something, um, I understand if you can't. I mean, these are very trying times for a lot of people. I'm not alone in that. I get it. Um, but if you can, it would be. I can't even express how grateful that would be. Um, but if you can't, maybe you know someone who can. Um, I'm just uh, I'm just trying to make it all work. And yeah. Okay, well, this is probably not the kind of video that you were expecting, and I'm sorry. Um, there we go again. But that's it, I suppose. So thank you for hopefully being able to make it through all my ums and ahs, and hopefully I can make this all come together with your help. I hope you all have a great day, and I gotta get back to work.